Okay, so today we're talking about evaluating functions and just have a few examples to go through. So this first one says that we're given y equals f of x below, and we need to find the value f of 2. Well, 2 is our x value, which is also known as your input. And so on our x, y axis, again, your x is your input and the y is your output. So the first thing you do is, starting at the origin on the x-axis, you want to move over to where x equals 2, which is right here. Then you go down to the graph to where it intersects. And then you go over to the left to find out the output value, which is -1. So that means f of 2 equals to -1. And so this is how you work out these problems in Newton. And like I said, I am recording this, and so once everything is done, I'll create the video link and then email this back out to everybody. But any questions about this problem?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. And this is just the answer from the above problem that I copied and pasted from Newton. So in this Word document, you'll have the original problem and then a screenshot of the answer below. Just FYI. Okay, so for this problem, okay, they give us y equals f of x. They want us to solve for f of x when it equals -2. So we know that y equals f of x. I have my x-axis and my y-axis, which is f of x. So I begin with the origin, and I want to move to where y equals -2. 1, 2. That would be right here. Then I move over to my graph to see where I intersect this graph. I intersect it here. Then I go up to my x-axis. So I know that my 1x value is when x equals 1. And now I keep going to my right to see where do I intersect the graph. Intersect it here. Then go up to the x-axis and see that my x value is 3. So these are the two x values I get when y equals to -2. And that's it for that problem. Any questions? Aaron, Zach, Jenna,
Can you
Officer?
explain that again? Just like,
Okay.
yeah, just one more time.
Yeah.
Those-
Okay.
Thanks again, Mr. Lee.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so in this problem, they're telling us that f of x equals to -2. well, f of x is also known as your output. And so on the graph, I have f of x, which equals y, and it's also known as output. So I have three different names for the y-axis. I can call it y-axis, f of x, where I can look at it as output. So to find out what x values are connected with f of x equals to -2, I start at the origin, and now I'm looking at where is -2 on my y-axis. Well, that's right here. So I've identified where -2 is. Now I need to find out what x values go with this output value of -2. Well, to find that, I start at -2 and I move towards my graph to see where do I intersect the graph. Where I intersected here. Now to find out what x value that is, I go up to my x-axis and I see it's at x equals 1. So when x equals 1, I have a y value of -2. But I can see that if I continue going from left to right, when y equals -2, I intersect the graph again here. And now what x value corresponds to that? Well, I go up to the graph and see that happens when x equals 2, 3. And then I have y equals to -2. So this coordinate pair can be written x comma f of x, x comma f of x. So does that make more sense, Lexi?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, we're still evaluating functions. Here in this problem, they want us to find f of 7. So when my x equals 7, what does f of x equals? Another way to say it is all my x values are inputs. So all these values right here represent your input, and then f of x represents your output.
Is there any way you can like zoom in?
Yeah. You. Okay. Is that better, Lexi?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Okay. So all of our x values represent the input. All of our f of x represents the output. So what they're asking us is, when our input value is 7, what is the output value? Well, when x equals 7, I look at my table, where here's when x equals 7. And what value is paired to that? Right below is 14. That means f of 7 equals 14. Another way to say it is when my input value is 7, my output value is 14. Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. Yep, when my input value is equal to 7, my output value is equal to 14. Any questions about that? Hafsa, Chloe, Lexi, Josette, Jenna?
Oh, it makes sense.
Okay. Lexi?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Now for this problem, they give us the output value, f of x equals to 4, and they want us to find the input value. So again, I'll just write input here, for all the x, and then output for all the f of x. So now I want to look and see where do I have f of x is equal to 0. I mean, not 0, is equal to 4. Yeah, I have one value here. So my output is 4. My input is going to be -1. And also here I have an output of 4. So my input is going to be equal to 8. Yep. And again, when the output value is 4, what are my input values? -1 and 8. So you would put a -1, comma, 8.
Would that be in parentheses or is it just -1 comma 8?
Just -1 comma 8. Let me scroll down because I did take a screenshot of this. Yep, they want it just as -1 comma 8, Aaron.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question. Any other questions before I go forward? Okay, similar problem, except this time we have to use a graph to find, to solve this problem. So they give us y equals f of x. They want us to find f of -1. So I'll write this here, f of -1. So in other words, when my input value is -1, what is my output? So here's my x-axis and then y-axis. So starting at the origin, I want to know where's -1. -1 is here. Now I need to find the y value that corresponds to this. I want to go down to where I intersect the graph, and that's at this point. And now I go to my right to find out where is this on the y-axis, and it's at -5. So when my input value is -1, my output value is -5. Any questions, y'all? That makes sense? Okay, for this problem, they give us that our output value is -3. So f of x equals -3. Or my output equals -3. So now what are my input values? Or what are my x values? So I start at the origin, I go down to where f of x, okay, this is f x, this is f of x. F of x equals to -3 is here. So now I go over to my graph, I go to my left, I intersect it here. Now to find the input value, I go up to the x-axis and I see one input value is -2 in comma. Now coming back to where f of x equals -3, which is here, I want to go to my right. And then when I intersect the graph, I go up to the x-axis to find out the input value, which is 1. So when f of x equals to -3, I have two input values, -2 and 1. And that's it for that one. Okay, see what's next. Okay, so for this problem, they give us a table of input values and output values. And they want us to find the linear function f of x. Well, f of x, so we need to find a function f of x is equal to mx plus b. This is the general equation of a line. So it'll be y equals to mx plus b. So the first thing we do is we calculate the slope by picking x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to let this 0 be x1. This will be y1, x2, and now y2. So now to calculate the slope, we're going to have m equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now we substitute. M equals to y2, which is 9, minus y1, which is 8, over x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is 0. So now this equals 9 minus 8, which is 1, over 1 minus 0, which is 1. So m equals to 1. So these were the steps to find slope. Steps to find slope M. And now we need to find the y-intercept, which is B. So to find B, I can pick any ordered pair here. I could pick 0, 8, 1, 9, or 2, 10. But I'm going to pick 0, 8. So when y equals to 8, that equals M, which is 1, times x, which is 0, plus B. So this is 8 equals to B. So my equation for the line is going to be y equals to M, which is 1, times x, plus B. Or you could just write y equals to x plus 8, because that's what B equals. So this, and I know they have it written this way also. Chloe, Lexi, Aaron, Hafsa, Jenna, any questions about that?
Makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah, that makes
Yeah, I'm
sense.
good.
okay. We got just one more problem, and that'll be it for today. Here they want us to complete the table for the following linear function. They give us all the x values, and we need to find f of x. And we do that by just substituting each x value into the function f of x equals 3x plus 1. So I'm going to write this up here. F of x equals 3x plus 1. So now when x equals 0, I have f of 0 equals to 3 times 0 plus 1. And that leaves me just 1. Put 1 as the output value for the input of 0. Now when x equals to 1, get 3 times 1 plus 1. All right, 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 equals 4. So put 4 in the table. And then when x equals 2, I get 3 times 2 plus 1 gives me 6 plus 1, and that equals 7. So whenever they give you a table and they give you x values, just substitute each x value in one at a time into the function and to get your y value or your output value. But that is it for today. One thing I wanted to remind you is to make sure you do the student evaluation. Yeah, that started last Sunday. I think you have at least another week, but if you can, please fill that out, and I'd appreciate it. But any other questions about anything for today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, and Monday, we're going to be online like we are now at 11 o'clock. And I'll send out a notice Monday morning to remind you. And then after Monday's class, I won't see you again until after Thanksgiving. So enjoy your weekend, everybody. And I'll see you Monday at 11 online.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
you're welcome.
you.
Have a good week.
You too.
Thank you.